from the Rebellious Studio in North Sandy Springs. I am here today with Dr. Andrea from Gentle Hands Chiropractic. Dr. Andrea uses a super gentle technique that actually tends to put you to sleep once you're on the adjusting table. But she works with a lot of kids and babies, which is why I thought she would be the perfect person to have this conversation with. And the topic today is technology and kids and posture. So I posted an article, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, on kids growing horns because of their posture related to technology. And I am very passionate about the topic. I personally have a little one, and that's an ongoing battle in the house, get off technology. But let's talk about why technology doesn't go so well with posture and what are the dangers of technology.
So the dangers of technology mostly is that it brings really anyone, but seen a lot with kids, out of an ergonomic state. While they're still developing their body and their muscles and their bone structure, and it really just puts you into terrible posture. So you'll see kids and they're bent all the way over. Their upper back is bent, their neck is bent, and they'll sit for an hour like this.
That's a good situation.
You know, or maybe longer, right?
Yeah.
And that is, one, it's terrible posture. And the reason why that matters, outside of that, it's developing their body in a very non-biomechanically sound way, is that posture is actually really important to overall health.
Right.
You know,
And I think that's the point that a lot of, we hear our parents when we're little, sit up tall, posture, but I don't think we really understand why posture is so important. So when I work with little kids, or even sometimes adults, I have to do a little lesson on, well, let's talk, what does posture impact? So posture is related to the positioning of our spine, right? I mean, and along with that, shoulders, head, and all that. But inside the spine is our nervous system, right? So when we have poor posture, what happens?
So when there's poor posture, it's changing the relationship between the nervous system and the bony structure and muscular structure that supports it. So when we have even a small change, at the level of the spine, as the spinal nerves come out of the actual spine or, bony enclosure itself, even a small change there can create massive changes to the amount of function when that nerve gets to the end of wherever it's going and to whatever it's supplying.
So if we think about the nervous system, and we don't really think about the health of our nervous systems, right? It's like, I always tell people, even moving that finger, that's a lot of neuroactivity, right?
Yeah.
We don't really think about it until we have a problem moving our finger, but there is a lot that goes on, and all of that neural activity feeds how our body reacts. And it's not just motion, but it's also our organs, right?
Yeah.
It's also processes such as basics, breathing, right?
Yeah, it's every cell, every tissue, every function
It's controlled.
in the body is controlled by a neural impulse of some kind. Every reaction, every reflex, it's all nervous system
driven.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And with kids, and you kind of mentioned that before, kids' bodies are still developing, they're still growing. So yes, sitting on technology all day or being sedentary for an adult is not good either. But why is it more impactful, especially for kids?
I think one is the results for children tends to go more unnoticed. So you can end up having loss of function over years without a child necessarily ever experiencing symptoms. And which can then lead to really severe symptoms
later on
in teenage years or early adulthood, and all of a sudden you're having serious degenerative processes, other issues, hormonal issues, cardiovascular issues, and other things, which actually both of those are directly related to posture as well. so I feel like it's easy to miss the importance of it for kids.
For a child.
And while you're developing and while you're building your body essentially,
Right.
you
They're
really,
still developing.
you want to build it right and in a good way, because that's gonna,
That doesn't help.
exactly, it's gonna give you a longer life, which actually is also directly related to both quality and quantity of life, are both also directly related to posture. And so if we're gonna deal with posture, the earlier, the better.
Right.
Because all of your biomechanical curves that support your body to function at its best are developed through childhood. And so if those get disrupted, then you're starting life at a disadvantage, as opposed to getting a desk job when you're 25 and putting yourself at a disadvantage starting at that point.
I know, kids are, I didn't have a cell phone till I was 19.
Yeah.
It was a very different time than it is now.
Yeah.
And you can see the kids with these, like young adults who have no necks, the neck down or even the protrusion forward. All of that stresses the body.
It stresses the body a lot, both on a bone and joint level, on a muscular level, on a nervous system level, on a chemical level, and on an enjoyment level.
Right, if you're in pain.
Yeah.
Right. Let's very quickly talk about posture. So if you think about the vertebrae and the nervous system and the nerves going, very simplistically said, out of the vertebrae, right? If there is an imbalance, there could be pressure on the nerve. So what do the nerves in the neck and maybe like upper back impact? Those are some of the more frequent areas that we see impacted from technology posture.
Yeah, so the upper back, you're gonna if the nerves go organ-wise, they're gonna supply the heart and the lungs. Muscle-wise, they're gonna supply all of the muscles around the shoulder blades, and all of that. The low neck is the brachial plexus, which is going to supply the entire upper arm. Also low neck to mid neck, you're going to have nerve supply for the thyroid.
Hormones.
And upper neck, you're going to have the supply for all of your cranial nerves, which is going to be all of your senses. It's going to be your balance, breathing.
All the basics.
Yes, and also these muscles here is actually innervated by cranial nerves.
So
and
as you
these
can
muscles are cranial nerves as well, so which comes from up here.
And a lot of times those get so stressed out by because they have to support the weight of the entire head.
Yeah.
Which is something that, I talk with my clients about the weight of the head, which as it is, these are some small muscles supporting a big head, but if the head is imbalanced, you want to quickly touch on that?
Yeah, so the proper curve of the neck, so when we're jutting our head out, all of a sudden we're losing the integrity. And so a normal head weighs about 8 to 10 pounds. Some maybe more, some, with kids it's going to be less, but that would be an adult head. And so, but the muscles have to work as if the head maybe weighs 15 or 20 or,
Because of the imbalance.
Exactly, because of the lack of structural integrity. Then the muscles have to work that much harder, which then again is going to lead to increased pain, increased stress, increased degeneration, and all sorts of other issues.
A lot of misalignments, because that's another thing that if a muscle overcompensates, there is another muscle that starts getting weaker as a result, which reinforces the imbalance and the misalignment. So, and that's very common too, just muscle speaking. It's if there's an issue up top, maybe not tomorrow, but a few weeks from now you might have, or a few months, all of a sudden you're going to have a corresponding issue in the bottom, and it just becomes very
it's also connected.
Yes, everything works together. So you might have pain here, but it might be coming from not here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
Exactly.
well, let us know what kind of questions you guys have. I will tag Dr. Andrea in her practice so that she can help us answer any questions. And what do you guys do for your young kids? I know I limit time, or I try to limit time, I should say. Some days better than others. And I'm also very particular about the posture that my daughter has when she's on technology. I will tell you, honestly, it doesn't always work because I'll go correct her, pat her on the back, and she'll sit up tall, and the minute I turn around, she'll go back down. I try to tell her to keep the iPad or the phone at eye level. But this is tiring. As an adult, you can't function holding something here. So maybe prop pillows.
I use pillows for myself. If I'm going to have the phone or the iPad in front of me, I'll stack pillows, and then I can rest my arms and
so
have
that
it
you don't go into
at
this
least
position.
have it relatively eye level. So
but let us know, what is it that you do? What kind of questions that you guys have? Hopefully this has brought some food for thought, because it's definitely a topic that I'm passionate about, because as I watch people's form, not just adults but especially kids their posture is impacted from a very, very young age. So
absolutely.
but thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And you guys, thanks for watching. Have a rebellious day. Bye.